Because here's a secret.
Hit
it's
the
really
fairway.
effective playing from the fairway. It's easier. But I mean, in all honesty, it's just hitting the fairway. And it doesn't. You don't have to hit it 280 off the tee all the time. I don't hit it 280 off the tee.
No.
And I play pretty good because I play from the short grass all the time.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of the Toppgolf Golf Show. Woo!
Woohoo!
Okay, so I'm joined today by three good golfers and one good golf coach. Espen Kofstad, Mariell Bruun and Ken Villanger. Okay, trick question to start with. What do Mariell and Espen have in common? Come on.
National champions.
Yes!
Yes.
Woo! National champions.
We also play Titleist and we're FootJoy ambassadors.
And we went to the same school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Phew.
Wow.
We
It
got a
shows
lot
how
in
much I
common.
knew about that. So cool to have Espen join us today for another edition of this show. And Mariell, when did you win the national championships?
2014.
2014. Did you play in that?
No.
No. Okay. Victor won it that year as well, didn't you? You won it long. What was his score?
I can't remember. It was like minus 21 or 27 or something
2700,
like that.
Terry Fjord.
Where was that? Terryfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very impressive. Espen, when did you win it?
2008 and 2010.
Fantastic. And what did you shoot?
Minus 9.
-9. Very impressive, Mariell. Who did you beat? Who came second? Can you remember?
Was the first loser.
I think it was a tie for second, actually. Camilla Vik and Sandra Noros.
Okay. Espen, can you remember your scores when you won?
I was 9 at Vestfold, and I think I shot 16 under at Bynäsa.
Fantastic.
Nice.
So we've got lots of positive information to put in today's show. So there's 4 weeks left of the season. Mariell, you're transitioning from tour player to golf coach, nutritionist, fitness expert. And how would you recommend now, towards the end of the season, that people finish their best? What would you say that they needed to do to lower the handicap, shoot one score better in the last 4 weeks of the season?
Well, it's literally just like we spoke about a couple of weeks ago in the podcast as well, how we should play a lot. Try to like gain confidence on playing in general. Practice the parts of the game in which isn't good enough. Practice solid, like we talked about as well. And just literally figure out like the stats for what you should work on in the indoor season.
So let's bring in the real tour player here, Espen. If you...
Ooh,
Sorry.
the real
Sorry,
one.
I'm not getting that.
Bring it on.
Espen, how would you share your knowledge to the people watching on how to finish the season strong? What would you do now with 4 weeks left? Not much daylight. It's getting darker as the hour comes in. What would you do?
Well, the most important thing is, I would say, also play. I mean, just spend a lot of time on the golf course if you can and enjoy it. But there's also one thing that amateur golfers are not very good at. That is showing up early, warming up.
Or showing up.
Yeah, or showing up. Putting on the putting green before you go play.
Right.
Just go to the range and feel the wind, hit 30 balls, those sort of things. I think that is a massive component of actually playing good. Because if I don't warm up, and if I haven't hit those lag putts on the first, and all of a sudden I have a 35-footer, I don't know how hard to hit it. So how is an amateur golfer going to know that? So I think the whole preparation of just taking 10 minutes on the putting green, 5 minutes chipping, and then 30 balls on the range is going to do a lot for many people.
But that also kind of means like warming up before you start hitting shots on the range as well. Because it's just as important getting ready to hit shots. It's just like you wouldn't do a back squat without warming up. It's the same way you wouldn't do a golf swing before.
Squat.
You're doing the gym. It's gym.
You wouldn't know, Mark.
It's gym, Mark.
Okay,
been
Mariell,
there.
you're super duper nutritionist at the moment. If I'm starting my week Monday, how am I going to eat better for the week coming ahead to get ready for my Saturday medal at the golf club? What am I going to do?
Well, it's kind of depending though. If you have a lot of practice in, you have to make sure that you eat enough. That's
Okay.
like priority 1. Because if you work out a lot and stay active all day, it's super important to get enough nutrition in. Otherwise, you're going to lose it, like mentally focus and physical.
So chocoboller, not a good idea.
That's the coach's on the way
Chocolate
to work.
and
Coffee
coffee.
and chocolate boller. That's coach's breakfast.
There you go.
Breakfast champions. Ken, what about you? What do you think?
I think we
Nutrition.
all... Nutrition. Oh, mate, you're talking to the wrong person here. I'll be honest with you. I'm not the best one at that, but I try to watch what I eat. And luckily, my body hasn't changed since I was 16, so I guess I'm doing something right. I'm very active. I don't eat too much junk. I look at things a bit more simpler. I just try to get as much fuel as I need, and that's pretty much it. Don't
Right,
overdo
but
it.
that
Don't
also means
underdo
eating
it.
proteins,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Not just carbs.
That's how you hit those.
Don't
when
worry
you
about
hit
it.
it up 8 up on the ball and
8 up on the
launch it.
ball. Hey, I have to cheat
Espen
my way
style.
to that.
So Ken, you're a club golfer.
Yep.
You're not, but you're a club golfer, and you've got a month left. What
Yeah.
are you going to do?
I would minimize or try to be more effective of the time I have for golf, actually, and be more on the golf course. Try to be a bit more productive with my practice instead of just sitting there banging balls with no focus. I would do exactly what Espen just said, right? Focus more on the putting, chipping, being on the golf course. You do that, you're going to see some weaknesses on your game that you were not aware of during the whole season, just playing and hitting a few balls. If you actually put some more focus into it, you will find some loopholes that you should be trying to
Yeah, but
cover.
it's quite simple, right? I
It
mean,
is.
if you want to get better at something, and well, at least if you say you want to get better, you have to spend time to get better. And a lot of people don't have time to go, like, they can't live my life where I
No.
practice and do all the gym work and all those sort of things because they don't have time because they have work and
Yep.
other obligations. But just spending the time that you have, just not being mindless, is going to make such a big difference.
You know, I've actually been noticing a few things, and now that I start coaching, I've noticed people a lot. They think about getting better, right? They plan it out in their head. As soon as they step into the practice range, the whole thing is gone. The plan is gone, right? So tomorrow I'm gonna try this. Okay, they do that. Halfway through the session, it's gone.
Well, they have 4 different swing thoughts they've
Exactly.
already tried in between.
Right? And that's one day. Then the next
Yeah.
day is a new tip they're trying out. I'm like, if you don't actually invest the time into it and actually the effort of trying it out and seeing it through, you're not gonna actually get the fruits of it.
I also think it's like many people that actually do reflect upon what they do though. Because I have a lot of people coming into lessons that actually have reflected, oh, last time we worked on this and I think that this actually works better for me because this and this happened and that's what I got for a result on the golf ball. So I think like reflecting upon what you do when you practice is really good. Don't you agree with that, Mark? Reflection.
Reflection is right back at me.
Right back at you.
me. But this can, let's say we have 3 different levels of golfers. Beginner, mid, and let's say single figure handicapper.
Yeah.
How can we put all that information to them? What would you recommend to a beginner then? How would they improve their skill level when they come to Topgolf? Because that's what they're trying to do. There's got to be some level of skill that they're trying to develop. So how would you develop that? Ken, I'll start with you. For a complete beginner, what should they do
Beginner.
to improve?
Trying to actually stabilize their shots, right? Because the hardest thing in the beginning is actually hitting the same shot over and over again, right? They can't do that. They cannot hit the same spot twice. So sometimes just getting into
Block practice.
block practice a
Positions,
little
just
bit.
stand on the
Yeah.
driving range, 60
standing
balls,
there.
120 balls.
Well, just like 60 balls is more than enough.
Yeah.
If you're just going to try to repeat one motion, that's enough. You don't have to do it 300 times because you're going to get tired mentally.
Try and develop some level
Develop
of skill
some
for
level
a
of
shot.
repetition and
It's
Just
also
that.
like not standing on the range for hours
Yeah.
again.
It's
Because
not
then
gonna
you're
help,
just
yeah.
standing there hitting and hitting and hitting. And it's not so
But do you
productive.
think they need a little bit of that in the beginner? If you're a beginner and you're trying to develop some level of skill, hit a golf ball a bit more forwards towards a target,
Yeah.
how would you do it? And that's what the question is really. Okay, what about a mid golfer, mid handicap golfer? How would you recommend, Marielle, that they improve their golf skill? That's a broad question, isn't it? But
Yeah, it's really broad because mid can be a
do they
wide
have
range.
some level of skill?
Yes.
And what is that?
Well, they have better like at concentrating on what they're supposed to do. You know, they have some knowledge about their golf swing, how they're swinging, what they're doing. So they sort of have a little bit of knowledge, and they also like have a little bit of reflection upon what they're doing when they come into the lesson. So I think when they're standing on the range, they're better at making their practice more efficient on their own. They don't really need a coach to tell them what to do because they already recognize it
what are
when
you
they play.
saying?
Yeah, well, they still need us in some way,
Of course,
but you know what I mean.
I do.
Espen, single figure handicapper, how would you recommend that they develop skill?
Well,
on the
I think as far as my single handicap friends go, there is sorry, there's a huge mental aspect as well
Yeah.
of of a lot of things. Because I mean, like I said earlier, if you show up in a rush and hit 5 balls on the range, you're not likely to hit the first fairway, and then it all snowballs from there. And it doesn't, for a lot of people, it doesn't matter how good you've been at practice if you can't do it on the golf course. And then, you know, I mean, say you show up 10 minutes before your tee time and you rush out, and then you slice it on the first, and you're like, okay, I'm going to reload another, and then maybe that one hits the fairway, and then the second hole comes around, there's a lake on the left. Well, that ball is never going to go in the lake, is it? It's going to go 60 yards right, and then you've already created those patterns and bad habits that last the day, because you know one bad swing changes
the whole thing.
a whole round
Yeah,
of golf.
and then your self-confidence decreases as well.
Yeah, and then everything you worked on it feels like a waste of time. And you know, my swing has changed from round to round, where I've played really good, and then the next day I just have a terrible feeling, and then that carries on for another 2 weeks, and then
snowballs.
Yeah, the show's on the road. No, but I think just having a structured practice, whether it comes to short game, range, putting, and then actually just taking the time and being there.
I think a structured warm-up also is
Yeah.
what you're trying to get at.
Yeah.
But then again, I think a structured practice is literally for every player, no matter what kind of skill level you have. Because if you're a new beginner, you still got to have some way of structuring your practice. It's just not as advanced as...
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
There's a lot more drills and stuff you can do, though, if you're single digit to improve.
Right.
Because I would say if you're single digit or close to scratch, you're trying to develop your level of skill to have the ability to cope if you snap hook it off the first hole.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I'd be developing my golf game around if I look back now, you know, because you got a plan till you get punched in the face, right? Isn't that a famous saying? I think that's golf. So what you do, you get on the first tee, you snap hook it, and you've got no ability to, your history, you're gone. Yeah. Compared to a beginner, is just obviously trying to go to the golf course, have fun, but make some contact and keep it going forwards in some way. So it can be very different. But the goal, long term, will be the same for a beginner. For me, anyway, coaching will be to get them to understand how they would make small adjustments when they hit shots they don't like. I think that is actually, I'd like to ask this question, which I was thinking, is this a crazy question to ask? How do you control the golf ball?
It's your club face, I think, mainly.
Yeah, but isn't that, you know, okay, how do you do it? How would you say you control the golf ball?
Which kind of bracket are you looking at? As a good player, beginner?
Yeah. Just,
how would I recommend them to think about it?
Because if we were all going to hit a straight shot from beginner to tour player, no such thing as a straight shot, but
I think to actually, I think I understood what you're saying. I think the main thing for everyone, no matter what kind of level they are, if you do not have control of your face, you don't really have control of anything else.
So you're saying face?
I think face control is key.
Marielle?
I actually do agree a lot with that, because I see that in a lot of the players I coach as well. They can hit great shots, but they don't control the face, and thereby they're not getting the ball to where they want.
How's that a great shot?
Because you still have a good contact.
1 out of 5.
Our contact, Marielle's rules.
Yeah,
Marielle
well,
coaches rules.
they can still have a good contact, but they're not getting the ball in the right direction because the face angle is off.
It's like Tyrrell Hatton, right? Lovely fly. It's a shame it's 25 yards left.
Marielle.
Great impact.
You talked to yourself like that when you played.
I talk like that all the time.
Do
Yeah,
you?
I had one today.
Oh, did you?
Flushed it in the trap. Yeah, it was great. It's great.
And do it again.
Yeah.
Aim right.
Espen, what do you think about? Come on.
Well, club face control is obviously very important, but there's an aspect of just controlling your body as well. Because if your body's out of sync, your club face is out of sync. So it's really important to practice. I mean, both, you know, club face control, but also rhythm and tempo. Because bad rhythm equals bad swing.
Yeah.
You can have the best squares face in the world, but if you mistime it, it's not going to go straight.
It's not going to be square.
No.
That
Kind
is
of forgotten
true.
about in golf, that, isn't it? Rhythm and timing these days.
It
It's
is.
kind of not something you hear very much. When years ago, it was talking good.
That's
rhythm,
how it was.
Good timing, lad.
Keep your balance.
Keep your
Yeah.
You know, and
Well,
they're
it's
the things that
it's a little bit of a difference now looking at Freddie Couples compared to Bryson.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Mickelson. Did you see him the other day? He jumped out of his position.
He's hitting bombs.
He's hitting bombs, man.
With those calves.
With them. Okay, let's move it on. We've talked a lot about practice. What about when you get to the first tee? I still think this is a massively interesting subject that everybody can learn from. What do you think, Espen, tour player, when you get to the first tee? What are you thinking about?
Nothing. I'm trying to hit the fairway. I mean, the most important thing on the first hole is hit the fairway. So, I mean, say you're at any hole. If you're not confident with the driver and there's a lot of trouble, like out of bounds, the range is maybe on the right, there's a hazard on the left or a bunker, just hit short of it. Hit the golf course on the first hole and then try to hit the green.
Exactly. Try hit something you're comfortable with from the tee box.
Because here's the secret.
And hit
It's
the
really
fairway.
effective playing from the fairway.
It's
But I
easier.
mean, in all honesty, it's just hitting the fairway. And it doesn't. You don't have to hit it 280 off the tee all the time. I don't hit it 280 off the tee.
No.
And I play pretty good because I play from the short grass all the time. That's the easiest thing.
I guess what you're saying is pick a target that you can comfortably hit.
Yes.
Yeah, and be committed.
And if that is not a driver, might be a 3-wood. If you don't like the 3-wood, you pick up the hybrid. And if you pick up the...
Treewood?
He told me this once.
This is a story. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what.
okay.
Yeah,
we played a tournament in Sweden.
Yeah.
And we had we had some heated discussions before.
Ooh.
And the explanation was, Espen, if you're not confident with the driver, pick up the 3-wood. If you don't feel like you can hit the 3-wood in the fairway, well, then you have a hybrid. And then if you don't like the hybrid, well, then you're just going to have to hit 4-iron hybrid on the green on this 400-meter par 4. That was the thing. But then we hit a hybrid every day and did pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It
The
works, doesn't
picture
it?
I'm building now then is, if you were playing whatever level you are, you're going out to play a golf tournament today, then everything about your practice on the range should be about hitting the fairway on the first hole. The only thing you should be thinking about is the last things you should do on the range is hit the club that's going to hit the fairway.
One thing I like to do a lot when I used to play tournaments, right, is the last few shots I hit on the range, I like to visualize my first shot.
Yeah, play it
I
like you
to do
played
it.
your first
Yeah,
hole.
Exactly.
That's the only
Just
thing
get
you're
it-
thinking about.
Yeah,
Hit the first
exactly.
one.
Yeah.
Because the first one, you get the first one, your confidence just boosts.
I have a
Like,
good
it
story
feels
about
good.
this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This was not the first hole,
Yeah.
but it was because I almost skied it off the first that day.
Yeah.
But the Challenge Tour final, I was on the 15th, and I've just taken the lead by 1. And it's water all the way up the left, and it's out of bounds on the range on the right. And I was practicing with Mark, and we've been visualizing these draws and these fades and these draws and these fades. And I got this random picture in my head. It was a stupid idea to a driver, by the way. It's never a driver. But I just saw the line and I just picked up driver and I just did exactly what I visualized. And that's such a powerful tool.
Yeah,
Just to be
visualize
able
it.
to see it before you do it. 'Cause
I know.
then chances much higher you're going to do it.
Exactly.
No, that happens a lot. And it feels like you're not even in your own body. It just goes.
Oh, wow.
When it happens.
There you go. So,
Yeah.
so there's the thing. When you get to the first tee, the process is picture it and see it and then hit it. That's what
Right.
you're
And the
trying to
more
do.
times you see it in your head, the easier it is to be committed and do it. So if you've done it a lot on the range before you go out on the first hole, it's not so difficult because you've already done it.
My buddy I played with the other day, he just read a golf psychology book. Yeah, it was one of those Bob Rotella books.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good.
It's legit.
Legit.
And I have to say, his commitment levels after getting a little bit of professional input from a book, it's so much better. And that aspect has a lot to do with it. Because now he just went, I just read this book and I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
And then he flushes it off the
He had a
tee.
belief.
Yeah.
He believed it.
Instead of a 60-yard slice sometimes. Now it's sort of a...
30 hours less.
Well, it's fair. It's a lot of fairway hits now, and it's long, and it's really committed, and
That's
that
important.
is a huge part. Just actually trusting what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you're never going to be able to do it if you don't practice it.
No, exactly.
And
You
even if
just
it's
thinking
30
about it
balls
one
a
time,
day
it's not
or
do it.
30 balls on the range, at least do something useful with those 30
Yeah.
balls.
There you go. So
great.
there you have it. That's the plan for the week.
It is.
If you-
I had one question. I think Espen is actually a great person to answer this question because now we're actually heading towards the winter. And like you mentioned on the last episode that you've played a lot of your years injured, right? How do you practice in the winter? Because you're kind of limited with practice, and practicing in the winter is kind of a limited practice.
Well, it's mostly basics.
Basics.
Basics. So it's putting tutor
Mhm.
when I'm practicing putting. It's, chipping is very limited.
Yeah.
It's more like just trying to find a landing spot and trying to replicate it, but it's chipping off mats, so it's very different than grass. And then it's just, basics, technique, feel like I'm striking it well, and hit till I'm happy, and then go home. Because there's not much more to do. It's just about creating positive experience when I practice. So if I feel good after sometimes 20 minutes, I'll say, well, that was a great day. Because then if I haven't hit a bad shot inside, I'm happy.
Do you ever play simulator golf in the winter?
Yeah, we play a little bit of simulator golf. It's interesting sometimes.
I agree.
Interesting.
But I mean, it's a good way to spend a little bit more time.
Because it can be tedious at times.
Well, very
Stand,
tedious. Just hitting into a net. It's boring. But if you
Can you
work
hit the same spot? Can you hit the
sometimes.
same spot?
Sometimes I shank it. Sometimes
That's
I,
classic, isn't it? Hit the same spot and you're doing good.
Yeah, but I also think it's good to like play simulator now and then just for the purpose of like playing.
well, you actually feel like you're doing something.
And then you're changing up the clubs and you actually see something happening
Yeah.
rather than just hitting it into a net.
I mean, the round is going quick, but you actually have a rhythm of play also.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's mostly, I would say, I just do basics.
Yeah.
Check the swing, do some videos, and hit a few balls. have
But
a
as
cup of
focused
coffee.
as you would be during the season.
Well,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's practice. It's the
practice.
same as every day.
We're
It's
talking
just
about
an-
practice?
Well,
I
all
don't
the
know.
top players in the world, they all have the simulators in the garage and they're all using it. They're all
yeah.
showing that they're practicing and using it.
They do.
Some of them playing the courses they're going to play in a few weeks' time. So they use it for visual and, positive outcomes.
I do that on PlayStation. Yeah.
59.
But it's also like, I feel like when you're indoors, like you're being more efficient with your practice when you're indoors as well, because you're not standing there for as many hours as you would be when you're outside. Because when you're practicing on the grass, it's like way different. But when you're indoor, you have to be more efficient with your time because you're not going to stay indoor hitting in a net for 3-4 hours. So you have to spend your time more wisely, I guess.
I just came to something. Congratulations on your last tournament.
Which one? Klubbmesterskapet Oslo?
No, not that one.
NM.
Enam.
Yeah, that
You
was
play well.
okay.
You play well.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, we didn't mention that,
Thank
did we?
Now we do.
Close.
That was
Replay.
the best golf I've played since
In a while.
2012 almost.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Good
that
round.
was very good.
Last round was actually looking pretty good for a while. That
Yeah.
was like, ooh, look at
It's on
him.
TV.
I was in the moment.
In a moment, he just saw it and it happened.
Yeah, well, then didn't because that putt didn't drop, did it?
Yeah.
Stopped on the edge. of the
Good
hole.
play.
Well done, Paul.
Thank you.
Nice play. Nice. So there we have it. 4 weeks left of the season. What we're saying is make sure you get to the range a little bit early if you have a bit of time before you play. Try and visualize some shots you'd like to play on the course, preferably the first shot that you're about to hit.
Yes.
Use that wisely. Try and get on the putting green, chipping green. When you get on the first tee, do all you can to hit that fairway.
And
Yeah.
just flush it.
And lastly, let's go to Marielle. Marielle,
What?
how would you eat better on the golf course? Come on.
How would
question.
eat better on the golf
if you're
course?
playing this weekend, Saturday, because what a lot of people do is they probably don't drink well enough, and then they, well, maybe the night before, Friday, they had a few beers or something.
They drink enough there?
Yeah, they're drinking off that. And how would you say then, back nine? How would you be eating and drinking better coming in?
Well, first of all, I think carbs is majorly going to be the most important thing to get in because that's going to work on your blood sugar levels. So if you're starting to drop down too early, then obviously you don't have enough of that in your system. So it's really, really important that you eat a lot of carbs, maybe starting with that before you hit the back nine, much because then you already have it in the system and you're not starting to decrease in your energy levels too low.
So what could people put in the bag then?
Well, a banana, for example,
Yeah.
it's really high in carbs. It's great. I don't know.
So what would you
Sandwich.
Quick.
do? Sandwich? Every 3 holes? Every hole?
18 sandwiches in a day.
8.
A bite?
Well-
A bite, pal. Come on.
To be honest, I'm not that great at eating on the golf course in general myself. It's because I'm getting too full, so I'm dropping it off. But mostly I would just recommend to eat something that has a high level of carbs. So that would be just a couple of bananas, or chocolate milk is great. That actually has proteins as well. And nuts is great because that's healthy fats. And that's also sustaining the energy levels quicker and longer. So like keep stuff in your bag that's actually filling you up, that you keep the energies high over a longer time.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks very much. Ken, Marielle, Espen, super special guest for joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
See you again soon, guys.